Hello, YouTubers. How you doing? Careful folk artist Dennis Ramsey coming at ya. When in Kempful, please come by the Dennis Ramsey folk art paintings, abstract art paintings, fine art paintings too. I'll sell you some walking sticks or magical wands, $30 each. All the paintings go for $50 each upwards. Anyhow, today's topic is Nova Scotia's social assistance checks. I think they're way too low, and I'll get into that. Anyhow, the inflation today of foods, essentials, and basics is very high. For example, when you go to the supermarket and you buy fish or meat, it's extremely high. For example, you buy a whole chicken. It's between 10 to 12 bucks a chicken. If you buy a family pack of hamburger, you're looking at a $10 bill all day long. Fish and meat is very high, and most people on social assistance in Nova Scotia hardly get any fish or meat to eat. Another factor that kind of plays into this is the cost of fruit. Everybody says that fruit is cheap. It costs very little for fruit. Well, that's bullshit. Bullshit. You go buy a dozen oranges, and you're looking at a $6 bill all day long. Fruit's expensive. Watermelons are good for you, but they're expensive too. Most fruit that is good for you is expensive. Pineapples. The cheapest fruit on the market is bananas. That's true. The people on social assistance in Nova Scotia have very poor diets because they can't afford the good foods like grain breads, grain cereals. They can't afford even sometimes a carton of milk. They're lacking milk in their diet, dairy. Yogurt is good for you, yes, but who can afford it? The people on social assistance don't have enough money for the proper foods. And the Canadian Nutrition Guide says you're supposed to have all these fruits and fishes and meats, but the people on social assistance can't afford it. Now, getting back to Nova Scotia's social assistance checks, there's a lot of folks, and I know probably 30 or 40 of them right now, that have no telephones. Those people should have a home line in case of emergency, case of fire, in case they take sick. I was talking to a social worker the other day, and I'll mention no names, and a few of my friends that got no telephones. I said, why don't you allow an allowance to pay for a home line for these people on social assistance? Case of fire, case they fall down and break a leg or an elbow, they can call for help. They said, quite simply, there's no money, no funds in the budget for such a thing as a phone for the people on social assistance incomes. I argue that, saying yes, it should be automatic. They should have a telephone in case of emergency or in case somebody in the community or their family calls them, can reach them. No. Phone's not necessary. That's not an essential. That's a privilege, and that's something that they got to pay for on their own. Now, a lot of these seniors and people on social assistance, and Canada Pension too, don't have telephones. Now, in my case, I'm on social assistance, but how I have a telephone is I sacrifice, hear that word, I sacrifice my food money for the telephone. because the social worker said a phone is not important, a phone is not an essential, a phone is not needed. If somebody falls down and breaks their legs or their hip, they can find them dead in the apartment 3 or 4 or 5 days later. That's okay. A phone is very necessary. A phone should be mandatory. Anybody on social assistance, they should pay for the telephones. That's coming from Dennis Ramsey. And I'm explaining the reasons why, not maybes or wants. I'm talking about emergencies, essentials, and what's needed in life. A lot of those people on social assistance have to go to the food banks, and I'm one of them. I'll be the first to admit to that. And I'm not feeling bad going to the food bank for one reason only. You're only allowed to go once every 6 weeks. And I run out of food like everybody else does. The money I get is not very much money to live on. That's the truth. You'll see from time to time people bringing me food because I ain't got the money to buy the food. The problem I see, this is 2020. Now, the Nova Scotia government that runs the social assistance checks is thinking this is still back in 1981. Things have not went up. The rates of the social assistance today would equal the year 1985, the cost of things that you got to buy. Now in 2020, things cost a lot. Everybody knows that. And those people that say it doesn't, they're wrong. I think the social assistance check should be at least, sorry for this squeaky fucking mic though, I'm sorry for that. So don't let that irritate you. It's just that it's worn out. The people should get at least $1,000 a month for each single person on social assistance incomes. The reason I say $1,000 a month, rents have gone up also. It's not just the food that went up or the telephones. Also, rents have gone up significantly. $1,000 a month to me seems like not too much. Because if you go rent an apartment today, you're looking at an $800 bill all day long, or a $700 bill all day long. So $820 ain't gonna do it, folks. These people that go to rent out an apartment at $700, $800 a month should get at least $1,000 a month. I think that's fair. I don't think that's improper to ask for. If I had my way, which I can't have my way, of course, everybody knows that. It should be at least $1,500 a month for each single person on social assistance in Nova Scotia. And the reason I say $1,500, there's reasons behind that. They could afford a telephone. They could afford food all month long where they ain't got to go to the food bank. And the rents, they'd be able to cover that $800 or $900 a month for rent. In this day and age, 2020, the social assistance check should be at least $1,500 a month, so they got enough money for food, phone, rent, essentials, and basics. That's Dennis Ramsey's opinion. Now, I know a lot of rich folks out there are going to argue that and say that's too much. They shouldn't get that. But those rich folks are millionaires, billionaires, and the upper middle class folks saying that. What about the working poor peoples and the people on fixed incomes that are living day to day? Ever think about that for a minute? They got car payments, rent payments, food payments, phone payments, cable payments, internet payments. And the working poor should get at least $20 an hour. The working poor peoples of the world. A lot of people will say, Social assistance people are insignificant. They don't count. They're not contributing. So why give them $1,500 a month? But if you're going to be right in the head and fair with people, you should get at least $1,500 a month to pay for their rent, food, phone, essentials, and necessities. Now, the social worker I was talking to the other day, I was talking to them about the reason this person I know 30 of them actually, but I won't bring their names out on this internet. This person has no telephone, not enough food each month. And the other day they were bedridden because they didn't have money to buy their medication or their pills. So, me being a good fella, I gave them $20 to buy their medication. Now they're back up on their feet, walking around. They're not bedridden. So you social workers out there, let this be a lesson to you. People on social assistance need money for their medications, their telephones, their essentials and food and basics. Now, $20 is not much money, I know that. But that $20 got that person walking on their feet when they were bedridden before I gave it to them. And you social workers, I called you that day asking you for your help for that person. And you said, oh, don't worry about it. That's their problem. Let's forget about it. No, I ain't got time to go look on them, or I can't take the time out. Well, to me, you're not doing your job. A social worker should take care of the mentally disabled and physically disabled people in Nova Scotia. That's my opinion. Now, $1,500 a month to me sounds fair because they can pay for their rent, their food, their phone, their clothes, their medicines, so on, so forth. Anyhow, this is Dennis Ramsey. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. And even if you don't like it, still give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the Dennis Ramsey YouTube channel. Push that red subscribe button now. Now, I do all my videos unedited, and I don't use any papers. I just give these speeches. Whatever I think about that pops into my head comes out on the mic. So it's as simple as that. There's no editing or wondering, do people like it or dislike it? I couldn't care less. The people on social assistance are being neglected by our Nova Scotia government, and some of them don't have their own medicines or foods or clothes. They don't have enough for clothes or rents or telephones, and they're being neglected by a rich government in Nova Scotia. Stephen McNeil, please raise the Nova Scotia social assistance checks to $1,500 a month so the people have enough money for rent, food, medicines, essentials, and basics. Now, y'all take care and have a fine day. I think I said maybe too much, but I think I got my point across in that 13 minutes. And y'all take care and subscribe to the Dennis Ramsey YouTube channel. And that social worker lives in Kempville and didn't care about that bedridden person that didn't have medication for their sickness. But Dennis took $20 out of his food money so they'd have pills and get back on their feet. So let this be a lesson. All you people that are on old age pensions and Canada pensions and social assistance, you should automatically get your drugs for free. The Canadian government gives us free health care in the hospitals. We should also pay for the medication of the senior citizens, the mentally disabled, and the physically disabled. This is coming from Dennis Ramsey that suffers from the multi-personality disorder and autism. I've been sick all my life, so it doesn't bother me because I'm used to it. But keep in mind, we got to treat the mentally ill Nova Scotians better. We got to treat the physically disabled people better. And we also got to treat the senior citizens a lot better. Y'all take care. Have a fine day. Peace out. And have a good day tomorrow.